This presentation will discuss the notion of artifact in some detail. We will look into the inside of an artifact, its structure, the part it consists of and how they are related. We will also look at the outside of an artifact, the context and the practice where it is used, and why people want to use it, what benefits it can provide to them. Here is again the definition of artifact. An artifact is an object made by humans with the intention that it be used to address a practical problem. And in order to investigate and analyze this notion of an artifact, we will make use of a hair trimmer as an example. A hair trimmer that is an ordinary physical artifact. In order to investigate the notion of an artifact, we will introduce a number of concepts. These concepts are shown here in summary, and these concepts together, they provide a kind of template that is quite useful for describing and representing a particular artifact, and that helps us to present it in a structured way and in an easily understandable way. To the left, we see concepts that have to do with the inside of an artifact. Its structure, how it's built up, its behavior, what it can do. To the right, we see the outside of an artifact, the practice where it is to be used, the purpose of that practice, the problem or problems the artifact can help to solve, side effects, undesirable effects of using the artifact, and the environment, which is everything around this artifact, including the practice. And at the bottom, we see the in-between, the function that the artifact is able to provide to the outside, to the users in the practice. Starting with the outside, we have the practice in which the artifact is intended to be used. It's also the practice that contains the practical problem the artifact is to address. For the hair trimmer, we have a hairdresser practice, which includes various stakeholders, here in particular the hairdressers and the customers. And in this practice, various activities are carried out, such as cutting hair and washing hair. The purpose of a practice is its goal, why the practice exists, what good, what benefits it can bring, what it offers to people outside the practice itself. And please note that right now I'm only talking about purpose-driven practices. For a hairdresser practice, its purpose is primarily to provide good-looking hairstyles for its customers. A problem experienced in a practice is a gap between the present state and a more desirable state, as it is experienced by people in the practice. So in a hairdresser practice, a problem could be that cutting the hair takes much too long time. So in the present state, it takes a lot of time to cut the hair, while a more desirable state would be one in which hair was cut quickly. Let's now move on to the inside of an artifact and look at its structure. And the structure of an artifact is about its components, how these components are related to each other, and how they interact. So the idea is that an artifact is constructed from various parts. They are assembled in a certain way so they can interact with each other, and thereby they can produce some behavior that can be useful for people in the practice. The behavior of an artifact, they are the actions that the artifact is able to carry out. It is what the artifact is able to do or to bring about. So, for the example of the hair trimmer, we have a couple of behaviors here. It can cut off very thin tubes, and it can make a buzzing sound. The function of an artifact is about what it can do for its users, what benefits it can bring to them, how it can support the users in their activities in the practice. So, for example, the functions of a hair trimmer is that it can cut off hair quickly and it can collect hair that has been cut off. The function of an artifact, it depends on and builds upon the behavior, but it also takes into account the users, what benefit it brings to the users. So in this sense, the behavior is something objective, it's just a property of the artifact. But the function of the artifact, it is a relative concept. It relates the behavior itself with the purpose of the practice and how it can support users in that practice. So, some behaviors of an artifact provide a basis for its functions. But an artifact may also have certain behaviors that give rise not to intended effects, but also to some undesirable unintended effects, often called side effects. For example, side effects of a hair trimmer could be that it disturbs people or animals by making this buzzing sound, by making this noise. We have seen that an artifact is always used in some practice, but we can widen this context of the artifact to its entire environment, that is, all the external surroundings and condition in which that artifact will be used. So, the environment of a hair trimmer, it would include, the practice, the hair salon, but maybe also a shopping mall that is hosting this hair salon. So the environment is broader than only the practice. And finally, please take a few minutes and analyze and describe a vacuum cleaner using the concepts we have introduced here.